So what we're looking at right now is a Diamond Audio display of a motorcycle system. We did the display to make it easier to look at and figure out what you're doing in a bike. A lot of bikes run a 4-channel amp, a mono amp, DSP, 6.5s, tweeters, 8s, and tweeters, and sub. So sometimes they'll run 6s, tweeters, a 4-channel amp, and that's it. Sometimes they'll run 6 tweeters, 4-channel amp, DSP, and rear speakers. There are lots of combinations that can be made. In the Diamond world, this amplifier is called the Micro 4 V2. This is probably the most popular motorcycle amp in existence right now, mainly because of how much power it makes and the physical size or form factor. Because of its physical size, it makes 80 watts per channel. To make any more power than this in this size is pretty much impossible. If you want more power, you got to go to a bigger physical amp because you need more heat sink. So this is 4 times 80 at 4 ohms, 4 times 150 at 2 ohms. So it makes a lot of power and in a very small package and doesn't draw current like a normal amp. It's very efficient. So you take this and you can drive 6.5s and tweeters. These are MS Pro drivers. This is 6.5 MS Pro tweeter. So a lot of the Harley guys are going to very high output drivers to get louder and louder. So we've developed these to solve that problem. So this is the tweeter. And this is our Sherman Vega tweeter, which is our sister company. This is typical of horn drivers. If you see the bullet inside, this is typical of what everybody uses. Now what we do is this. So it's a totally different kind of phase plug. And that phase plug makes a huge difference. What it does is it disperses the energy more equal because these speakers tend to have a huge peak in them. So the phase plug looks like that. That's the phase plug. So inside here, it disperses the sound and tends to take the big peak down because there's a huge peak caused by this phase plug at about 6,000 cycles. So it smooths it all out. So this is a much smoother alternative, but still being very high output. 6.5, this is a 6.5 inch speaker. It's used by a lot of motorcycle guys. It's a high output pro driver. Okay, so when we talk about pro drivers, they're high sensitivity, but because they're high sensitivity, there's a law called gain bandwidth product. Gain bandwidth product tells us that as speakers get more and more sensitive, that low frequency goes away. That's just a law, not a suggestion. So they're very light cones, very stiff, very efficient. This is like 96 dB, 97 dB, where the tweeter is 107 dB. So now you have very high efficiency coupled with pretty high power, you can get a lot of output. We go into a DSP. This is a 4-channel DSP to 5. So it's 4 in, 5 out. So perfect for lots of applications, for marine, motorcycle, car, all kinds of ways that this works. So this is 4 times 4 by 6, 4 in, 6 out. So you have this, you hook it up to a head unit on a motorcycle, or you could do Bluetooth in. It has Bluetooth built into it. So you can Bluetooth into it music-wise, and to control it is all done by an application that's Bluetooth. So it makes it very easy, because once you mount it in a motorcycle, you don't want to have to be plugging in cords to hook up a computer. With ours, it's all Bluetooth. It's no big deal. So you have that. This is a monoblock. It's driving a 10-inch subwoofer. This 4-channel amp is driving the rear channels of the 8s with those horn tweeters again. The horn tweeters come with 3 rings. They come with a silver ring, a black ring, and then a copper ring. So depending on what look you want, you can do that. Also, it comes with a shock mount. What we've done is I've added 2 rubber gaskets, and the rubber gaskets are set up so that when you mount it in a motorcycle, that it shock mounts it to quit tearing up the fiberglass fairing. So we've tried to do our due diligence and be smart about how this is used.